Rugby League, the Western Front Edition, the podcast where we talk about everything local WA Rugby League. I'm here, Sweeney, and as usual with me, Beatrix. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Full complement back together this week. It's good.
Yeah, it's excellent. Always. Smogs.
Yeah, back from Melbourne, 19th man for the Dogs last week. Almost got the call up, but
Nice.
bit of hamstring tightness, I think, ruled me out. So, good to be back, boys. Talking local footy, what's not to love?
Is it a hamstring issue or is it this continuing infection that just seems to be bacterial infections that are going through the
I just can't say what's infected on air.
All right, let's jump in straight to our semi-final results and prelim preview.
Yeah, so Women's League tag results from the qualifying final. We had South Perth comprehensively, 30 over Ellenbrook 8. So that means South Perth are straight to the grand final at Dorrien Gardens in 2 weeks. And in the elimination final, Joondalup, after a tumultuous week where they had to play two games, 14 over North Beach 10.
And in third grade, the qualifying final, South Perth 12 over Ellenbrook 4, sending South Perth straight to the grand final. And the elimination final saw Willagee 38 over North Beach 12.
In the Val Murphy Trophy, the qualifying final had North Beach 24 over Ellenbrook 22, which sees North Beach go straight to the grand final. In the elimination final, had Alkimos a massive 66 to Fremantle 0.
And then onto the Women's Premiership. In the qualifying final, we had Ellenbrook 14 over Fremantle 10. And again, that puts Ellenbrook through to the grand final. And then the game I allegedly didn't know existed, we had Willagee winning the elimination final 14 over Joondalup nil.
Yeah, we did give you a bit of grief on the last one for that.
I'm trying to find something all week to back me up, and it's been deleted from the website.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Are we doing feedback on that, or do it? Yep.
Yeah.
Watch the live stream game, boys.
Yeah, watched it. I think again, Willagee probably relied on a couple of key players. Some good tries, good running from Hodgson, Young, and stuff like that. And I think that's what we've sort of spoken about. The key players that sort of make Willagee tick along.
I think it was more than 14-0. I think my league's playing up too, boys, because there's a few more tries than that.
Yeah, I think so.
They've got 6 tries on my league, so
yeah,
but it hasn't calculated properly, so we're ripping Willagee off a few points there.
Yeah, that's it. The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah.
For me, we all know what Hodgson's going to do, but I think Beatrix and myself were chatting about this. It's I think it was Suamili, who was the number 6 for Bears, was having an absolute field day out on that left edge, trying constantly to link up with Brianna Young out there, and was really turning the Joondalup team around.
And I think it sort of goes, the results sort of fits with what we've seen all year. It's been quite obvious the 3 top teams have been sort of a fair way ahead of Joondalup. Obviously, Joondalup's made the finals, last year's premiers, not quite the year they're looking at. Maybe some key players missing that sort of featured last year.
Yeah.
Nika Stevens being the obvious example there. Just not quite their year, but I'm sure they'll be back bigger and stronger next year.
Yeah, Joondalup looked like they just lacked a little bit of direction out there, obviously missing Anika. But for the Bears, Brianna Young was absolutely on fire on that left edge. Some of her carries out of the yardage area was fantastic. Really got the set onto the front foot.
Yeah.
The 5'8", Somali, if some of her passes were that little bit crisper, Willagee score another 3 or 4 tries. She had a fantastic game. And yeah, Ruby Hodgson out of hooker. She's just so dangerous. She can turn a game on its head in the click of a finger.
Yeah, such a unique running style as well. That hold the ball out, just sort of jiggle it. And you'd think anyone would just be able to just knock it out of the hands, but it just doesn't seem to happen. It just seems to lead to tries.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think there was one point there where she's attacked the line. And if I remember correctly, she's just lifted the ball up.
Yeah.
And the boys on the commentary team talk about the same thing. She's just lifted the ball up out of the way and gone over for a try.
I've never seen a hooker run like that, but it works.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Another thing I kind of want to point out here a bit as well, and this is going to play really well for them in the final, is their goal line ruck defence is on point. They're very quick off the mark. They're very quick off the line. And they cover everything around there. So I think Joondalup had a couple of goes at trying to crash play around the ruck on the goal line, and they were just more than equal to it often. So
yeah, what about the score from the main game? Well, not the main game.
The non-televised game.
The non-televised game. I think it's probably closer
closer than we expected, but from looking at my league updates through the afternoon, it looked like Ellenbrook had control for most of the game. I think they were up 14-0 at one point, and then maybe just switched off a bit towards the end. But Fremantle obviously take a bit of confidence out of that. Getting within one try of the heavyweights of the competition.
It sets it up for a game we'll talk about later. It sets it up a mouth-watering clash, I think.
Just quickly as well, boys, I wanted to point out there was 7 Giants backing up to play tackle after their midweek game. Those ladies, as far as I could tell, also backed up again the next day in their win. I think it was their 14.
Yeah, they beat North Beach, which was probably what you'd call an upset, especially given the circumstances. So
14-10.
Massive effort to all those ladies. So kudos to them, I think, from us boys, because we struggle playing one game every once in a while, not 3 games.
3 games in 4 days. So excellent work on the Joondalup Giants there for that one. We'll
move on to the men's premiership, where it seems like defence was not the order of the day. Some very big scorelines here. In the qualifying final, we're seeing South Perth 50 over North Beach 32. That sees South Perth going straight through to the grand final. The third South Perth team of the day to make it straight through to the grand final. So it was a great day there at George Burnett Park for the South Perth Lions. And in the elimination final, it was Willagee 34 over Fremantle 24. I don't think that score really reflects the dominance that Willagee had over this game.
No, I think from looking at it, especially some of the first Willagee tries were probably fairly easy and straight up the guts of Freo. Freo got a couple back sort of later on that were again probably soft, but I think, like you said, Beatrix, defence was optional from all 4 first grade teams this week. And if I'm a first grade coach, which clearly I'm not, I've got the tackling bags out, I've got the cones out, practicing defence. Attack clearly isn't an issue.
No. The tries that came off early, I don't know if Willagee caught them by surprise, but the left edge went over 3 times within the first maybe 11 minutes or something like that. The Fremantle came back, but they bombed a couple of sets either inside the 40 or 20 for Willagee. At one point, they had something like a 3-on-1 overlap.
Yeah,
and Kerr's pass went out,
yeah.
And it hit the deck. I don't know what happened there at all. Maybe a couple of calls went against Fremantle as well. What I'd like to point out about Fremantle is their grit and determination. They were behind the 8 ball, but they never stopped. Even if things weren't going their way, they kept trying, they kept pushing. Once they got their number 1, I'm not actually sure of his name off the top of my head, involved a bit more in the running, he started making way more metres for Fremantle in that time, so...
It was a very un-Fremantle performance, especially in the final at home. They got completely ambushed in the first half, and it's just some of the errors they were making were very un-Fremantle, and then usually they defend them, and Willagee was just running riot. But I suppose a little bit concerning too for Willagee that they allowed 24 points to be scored against them with the dominance that they showed throughout the game,
especially the nature.
Some of them were fairly soft tries also. People like to see a lot of tries. So.
It's an exciting part of the game, isn't it? Yeah,
I can't help but look at it and wonder. We've sort of seen a bit of a change in the guard with Fremantle this year with the coaching staff and stuff like that. You sort of wonder whether it really is an end of an era. With sort of the dominance and strength they've had for the last decade in the local first grade comp and filtering down, whether players are coming towards their end of their playing careers, and it's sort of a generation next.
Father time catches up with all of us, and all them Fremantle guys have been around for a long time.
That's it. If you had to compile a team of the decade for the last 10 years, half of it would be those Freo guys. It's that simple. So
a lot of guys in throughout that Freo club, a lot of them have been winning comps since 2015. So
that's it.
It's a long time.
Oh, that's it. And what about the other game? That scoreline is. I don't know. I don't know.
It's sort of
that scoreline.
It wasn't the televised game.
No,
so it was.
But looking at it, North Beach got 4 tries in the last 14 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I'm South Perth players and coach, I'm less than happy with. You might have the game won, you might be secure, but 4 tries in 14 minutes in first grade.
Yeah.
in a qualifying final is probably not what your standard you're holding yourself to.
No, that's right. I mean, how can you get so far ahead and pull your foot off and allow them in? What's to say you don't get 2 tries ahead and pull your foot off, and the same thing happens, and now you're chasing points, as opposed to maintaining and trying to increase your lead.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting for North Beach that Thomas Fry was starting on the bench. He's been a constant starter for North Beach for the years. Got the Man of the Match award in the grand final last year. So I don't know if he was carrying an injury or something, and that's why he started off the bench. But yeah, I was just used to seeing him in the starting lineup. So not sure what's going on there. And then obviously, guys like Bailey Miller and stuff coming back from injury. Maybe they need another week under their belt, get a bit of a run.
Yep.
Get a bit of confidence back in the legs, but yeah, certainly not the score that I was expecting at 50-32.
No, that's right.
Yeah, a bit of sun comes out, dries it out, and everyone wants to score tries.
Yeah, it was looking good not on TV, not as a televised game. Yeah, awesome. So we're going to move on to our prelim finals preview. So all of the senior prelim finals will be played at Blue Force Park this Saturday, the 30th of August. Kicking us off at 11 a.m. in the Women's League tag, we have in the prelim Ellenbrook versus Joondalup. A little bit more on their history for this year. Round 2 saw Joondalup beat Ellenbrook 18-16, and that was at Admiral Park. And then in round 14, Ellenbrook got the win 22-14 at Franklin Offshore Stadium.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk a bit more about these games. Yeah, I reckon. I mean, looking at this game, obviously last year Joondalup made the finals in the tag where Ellenbrook sort of weren't. So I think Ellenbrook have sort of come in and maybe been the success story of the tag comp this year. Have come from having a few poorer years, not being quite up there to making the finals. I think it's a big call. It's hard to know whether that lack of experience in the tag sort of final system will sort of have an impact for them, I think.
Yep.
But I think for Joondalup, Taryn Wiley is one of the ones, long-term Willagee player, been around a lot of Willagee success. I think probably a key player for Willagee if you're looking at that game and looking at players to make a difference. That'd be my call.
Look, I mean, this is the same Joondalup that'll be playing X amount of games in a short while. So ladies will be backing up. But I don't think this will hamper them. I think they'll have taken their recovery serious. And they'll have shown the grit and determination that they need to be able to move through. And that, I think, is going to bolster them. So I think they'll win the mental game and they'll stay on top of it here for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure how many Ellenbrook of the tackle girls from Ellenbrook play tag as well. But if there's quite a few of them that do play both, like having the week off in the tackle, it's only going to make them more dangerous in that league tag.
True, very true.
We'll move on to the third grade in the prelim final. This kicks off at 10:12 at Blue Force Park. It's Ellenbrook taking on Willagee. Through the year, round 7, Ellenbrook were winners 34-28, and in round 13, Willagee 22 over Ellenbrook 4. Both of them games were at Weber Reserve. So, boys, these are third grade warriors.
Yeah.
How do you see this one going?
I mean, I think both teams are quite physically big teams. I think Willagee's got a lot of size and a lot of power, rolling the subs quickly, sort of on and off, short stints. I do note, I was looking at the grand final teams from third grade last year. Willagee lost that third grade grand final last year. I couldn't see a single player in the 20-man team that played last weekend that played in that grand final last year. Obviously, some of those guys have stepped up to VMT with Willagee stepping up to first grade, but I think it's just interesting to note how different the same squad looks 12 months on. Absolutely different from my reading of it.
Yep. Look, they've done really well. Again, neither of these teams are ones that you look forward to playing because they're big bodies that are coming at you. And as Morgan said, Willagee especially are very good at changing their subs, very good at running boys on, tiring our forwards out when we played them, to then pull them off, give them a rest while we're still, trying to catch our breath on field. So they have that going for them, and they, depending on who they've got in their backs and in their halves, they're very good at opening the space up and moving it around the edges. So, but
I think where Ellenbrook maybe has the advantage is some of the outside backs. They've got a couple of the outside backs that have sort of floated between their two grades this year that are maybe playing playing thirds this week, and I think that might be a few strike players out wide that might make a bit of difference. Is probably my observation from having played against Ellenbrook and unfortunately missed the Villagey game we played against them due to being broken.
Yeah. There's that hamstring tightness from his trials for the Tour de France.
On the Val Murphy,
so...
Jim Walks?
Yeah, Morse.
Val Murphy. So we've got Ellenbrook versus Alkmaar, and that's a 1:30 kickoff. So their 2025 history, Ellenbrook 32 over Alkmaar 12 in round 3, and that was at Charlotte's Vineyard Pavilion.
Yes.
And then in round 9, we had Alkmaar 52 over Ellenbrook 10. Now, I know... kicking it off that these two teams are the highest scoring teams from the season, like from Val Murphy. So they have easily scored the most points. With that, Alkmaar have scored over 11 times, my maths was, and over 54 times. Ellenbrook has scored over 38 times and once over 50.
Wow.
Obviously, Alkmaar, one of theirs was a 66 win last week in the knockout final.
Yep.
So I think whatever this score is, it's not going to be a low scoring contest. It's going to be fast, free-flowing footy.
Yep.
Defence is optional. Tackles are optional. Score a lot of tries. A lot of razzle-dazzle from two teams that will hopefully be in first grade next year, from my humble opinion.
I have to sort of second Morgan on this one. I'd love to see these two teams in first grade next year, and seeing that Ellenbrook have made both their grades are in this position this year. I can't see why they wouldn't be more than up to the task of putting a first grade side in. Look, I know Ellenbrook guys. They're quick, they're fast. Morgan's put the best sort of full stop on it about their speed and ability. But Alkmaar are big. They're big forwards. They're big guys. They love to bring that physicality in, as does their third grade side. But I reckon I'll go with Ellenbrook on this one. I think they'll just be a little bit quicker off the mark for this particular contest.
Mate, after seeing Alkmaar win 66-0 in elimination final, and then looking through their team list, you got Davey Martin at the back. You got Jack Ray playing 7, who come through Super League systems in the UK. You got Thorin on the bench, who was a state player, one of the best front rowers in the comp 6 or 7 years ago. They just got star power across the field, and I can't see it going any other way but an Alkmaar's victory.
Yeah, I reckon you could see like a 44 to like 38 type of result. Like I said, I think defence is optional, and that's probably typical of these two teams. But I think it makes for great footy.
Women's Premiership.
So, our prelim final for Women's Premiership kicking off at 3 p.m, which here at the Western Front think is a jolly good time for the Women's Premiership to be kicking off. This will be Fremantle versus Villagey. So, our 25 history for these two teams has Villagey winning 14-6 at Hartfield Park in round 5. Then Fremantle in a lower scoring game, 8-6. A Weber Reserve in round 9, and then round 14 we have Fremantle 14 over Villagey 4 at Treeby. And an interesting short fact here is the loser of this matchup all year has failed to score more than 6 points. That's quite interesting.
And I think that sort of narrows up with a bit of a stat I've got. If we look at the top try scorers from the women's game, there's no Freo player that scored more than 5 tries. There's 4 Villagey players that have scored more than 5 tries.
Yeah,
so what that says to me is Freo's probably sharing the ball around, sort of going through more hands, maybe a couple more players playing, a bit more squad change, whereas Villagey relying on their strike players and using the strike players effectively. So I think that neither is a better strategy or a more effective one. I think this will be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Looking at the history, obviously Villagey back into the Women's Premiership this year. They've never won a grand final. Freo's won a couple of the grand finals, I think, back in 2019, 2020, my research tells me. So what experience, if any, sort of lingers from those years ago, I don't know off the top of my head. But, I mean, I think it's going to be a close game, and I think 1 or 2 players, whether it's a Brianna Young or a Claudia Foster, a standout performance from some of those top-level players could be the difference.
It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to playing daytime footy after spending all year. You train at the night time. They've spent all year playing at the night time. Yeah.
Well, it's a massive difference,
It's
isn't it?
gonna
Like,
see- yeah,
I
it's
know
huge.
when I'm out there playing at day,
Yeah.
I can actually see the ball. I don't know. I severely hope none of these players have eyesight like me, but if they do, we might see a whole lot less knock-ons from anyone. We'll analyse that next week and see if someone's clearly got the vision.
It'll be interesting. Like if the sun's out, it's a bit warmer.
The fatigue plays into it.
then
No,
the
but it
fatigue
does.
comes
In,
into
in
it.
all seriousness, absolutely, it's going to be a different
Who
environment
does
for them.
who does that advantage more? Does that you got the hooker from Willagee. With his tired forwards, is she going to cut up the middle? And you got Brianna Young on the edge. Is she going to be able to tear it up because of the other team's fatiguing?
Yep.
Then on the flip side, you got someone like Beth Norton. Is she going to be able to cut through the middle when Willagee's starting to fatigue? So, be interesting to see which way that goes.
And we talk about like playing on grounds and like home ground advantage. Well, none of them have played at North Beach this year because North Beach hasn't been used for the women's game. So does that make a difference? As a different change room, does a different field? We know North Beach.
Yeah. North
is
Beach
a very
is a-
unique ground.
North Beach is
especially
a
with the
tricky.
sloping
North Beach is a tricky
goal.
ground. Yeah, that the way it slopes into the corners.
Yeah.
If you can use that to your advantage, then it could go a long way to victory. And
Even something like a drier track, if it's not rained. Normally they're playing on dewier or nighttime grounds.
Yeah.
So
I think that game's a genuine flip of the coin.
Yeah, it is. And like I
agree.
said, I think in that one, if someone wins it having scored 16 points, that's about what I'd expect. I expect good, tight defence, low scoring.
Two good defensive teams.
Exactly.
Yeah. On to the men's premiership, boys. Prelim final kicking off at 4:20. We got North Beach taking on Fremantle through the year. These teams have met 4 times through the year. Starting off in round 3, it was a 34-28 win to North Beach. Round 8 was a 42-30 win over North Beach. Round 10, the Bears snuck an upset 16-14, and that really kick-started their season again. And then in round 12, just 2 weeks later, they met again, and it was a 24-10 win to North Beach.
I mean, I honestly don't know where to start with this one. If the NRL curse is real, North Beach have done themselves a disservice with last week's result, and they're out of contention, having conceded 50 points.
Yeah.
They're the first team in the 4 to concede 50 points this year. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. So, I think, I look at it and I just feel like experience might be the difference. North Beach has won 3 of the last 4 comps. Willagee, last time they were in a grand final, the only time they were in a grand final, me and Beatrix weren't born. Sweetie was about 15. It was in 1984 and it was a 15-7 loss to North Beach. So obviously this is to get into a grand final. So Willagee as a club, their history is against them, but they have they have a former Canada medalist winner in Gudgeon there, and I think that fullback battle to me is looking amazing. Gudgeon and Miller, that could be the deciding factor. Who lights it up? Who sets the field ablaze?
I've got a feeling that Willage is going to win this. I just got a feeling, especially if they can get their defence right, then they've got plenty of points in them.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think given last week's scoreline for North Beach and how Willagee kind of ambushed Fremantle, I think they might be looking to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Take it to them really early, then work to hold their defensive line, and then inject Gudgeon in where they can to really sort of split North Beach apart.
Well, that's it. And if we looking at the top try scorers for first grade, 4 of the top 5 will be playing in this game.
Yep.
And the 2 fullbacks are in that list. And that's with Miller having missed half the season. So I think...
Did he finish top try scorer with missing half the season?
Yeah. Like that's
amazing.
And I think Gudgeon was only 3 tries behind him.
Yeah, so
4
that's
tries
it.
behind
That's
him or
it.
something
4
like
of
that.
the top 5 will be playing in this game. I mean, I think it says a lot about the attacking footy both these teams play, but they also play it out in the back line. It's the fullbacks, it's the wingers coming through. I think losing like North Beach did last week is going to be hard to come back from, but playing at home brings it in. But I think maybe Willagee, but again, I reckon it could be a high scoring game, this one.
I think it does come down to who's lining up on the day as well. I mean, Willagee have had a number of different ins and outs where you've seen Gudgeon go into the 6 role. You've had Bannister and Camiso in the 9 and 14 interchangeably through the year as well.
Yeah.
I think and I don't want to give him raps because I pointed him out as my player to watch last week, but I think Bannister did a really good job coming out of dummy half, either scooting or he was picking the right time to do the right play, and that was
that hooker combination reminds me, and I'm obviously a bit biased, the 2004 Bulldogs NRL Corey Hughes and Adam Perry, very different style of players, but the way when they're utilised at the time they're utilised by the coaching staff, you get the fast, more pacier player in to sort of come in through the ruck and shred it.
Yep.
Where when you need defence, you've got the hooker that's going to make the tackles, going to do the hard work, and I think really that model is working really well for
I agree.
I'm not sure if you noticed, boys, but I was just having a look on my league, and last week Willoughby had 11 captains.
I did see that. I don't know what happened there.
I think we've noticed Fremantle had a different coach every week, so why not 11 captains, you know? That way someone's going to be on the field at all times, and everyone can talk to the ref, politely and respectfully, of course, gents.
Always politely and
respectfully. There was an ambush. It's a team full of leaders.
I mean, I just wonder what's wrong with the 6 blokes that weren't captain.
You'd feel pretty bad about that, wouldn't you?
Cool. I think we might leave that there.
We'll leave that there. It's all in good fun. We know the boys love us, or we love the boys, one or two.
Okay, I've lost my spot again. Gee whiz. Good on you,
Junior
guys.
prelims is, I believe, Sweeney.
Junior prelims. Okay, so these are the results. Correct.
Correct.
That's
Okay.
There's numbers there. That's scores. That's tries.
That's scores and tries.
Yes.
Do you know what I really love about these guys is their catch and pass. It's spot on. For our girls' league tag, we had South Perth 8 over Fremantle 4. Our under 13s boys saw Rockingham get up over Ellenbrook 28-16. Our under 14s girls had Kwinana 20 over Fremantle 16. Our under 14s boys had Ellenbrook 28 over Kalamunda 10. Under 15s had Willoughby 24 over Kalamunda 12. And our under 17s boys saw Ellenbrook get up 14 over Alkimos's 12. Any of the games that you saw, any feedback or thoughts on these games, lads?
3 out of the 6 games were upsets.
Yeah.
South Perth beating Fremantle in the girls' league tag, huge upset. Kwinana winning the 14s girls, huge upset. As you mentioned, Morgs, they had to win by 20 in their last game of the year just to make the top 4.
Yeah.
And then they go bang bang and they're in the grand final.
How's that?
And then, the 14s boys, Ellenbrook 28 over Kalamunda 10. That was an upset too.
Well, I mean, that's not just an upset. That's a fairly decent upset as well.
It's not the scoreline I was expecting, that's for sure.
I think it is. I think it shows that finals footy is a different beast, and if you come in with the right attitude and the right game plan, if you're in finals, you can win it. And I think, it's a credit. There's a variety of clubs there. Other times you might see 1 or 2 clubs dominating, but we've got a good mix of clubs, and it's maybe some of the clubs that haven't had the ongoing success of seniors. So I think it's just good to see all around.
The 17s boys too. That 2 weeks in a row, they're 2 tough, hard, right to the finish games for Ellenbrook. They went to Golden Point last week, the week before, and then weekend just gone, they win by 2.
Yeah.
Are they going to be battle hardened, or are they going to be exhausted by the time they get the grand final?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
We'll see any of these 17s boys resting up at Ellenbrook.
But we talk about the under 17s, Ellenbrook, Alkimos, junior pathways.
Quick
nudge.
No, well, that's it.
They'll all be ready to step up to reserve grade and first grade next year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do a Rockingham from this season.
Yeah. Moving on to the grand final previews for our juniors. All junior grand finals will be held at Weber Reserve this Sunday, the 31st of August. The grand final for the girls' league tag has Alkimos versus South Perth, kicking off at 9:30. Our history for these two teams: round 5 saw a draw between Alkimos and South Perth at 16 all. That was held at Heath Park. Round 8, Alkimos 20 beat South Perth 10, also at Heath Park.
In the 13s boys, we have Rockingham taking on Willoughby. That's a 10:35 kickoff. Round 2 earlier in the year saw Willoughby 46 over Rockingham 6. Round 7 saw Willoughby 20 over Rockingham 14. And in the qualifying final, Willoughby were 22 over Rockingham 8.
And then moving on to the under 14s girls, We have Willagee versus Kwinana in the grand final, and that's an 11:50 kickoff. So the 2025 history, we have Kwinana losing in round 1, so that was Willagee 48 over Kwinana 16. In round 3, Willagee 38 over Kwinana 10. And round 12, Willagee 36 over Kwinana 12, and they were all at Thomas Oval.
Moving on to the under-14s, boys, we see Kwinana taking on Ellenbrook. This kicks off at 1:05 p.m. The 25 history for these two teams had Kwinana beating Ellenbrook 50-6 at Charlotte's Vineyard Pavilion.
Moving on to the under-15s, boys, we've got Alkimos versus Willagee, and that's a 2:20 kickoff. 25 history, we have Willagee 20 over Alkimos 4 in round 7 at Heath Park. We have round 13 was a forfeit. I believe that was Alkimos from memory. In the qualifying final, we have Alkimos winning 26 over Willagee 22.
And in the 17s, boys, we've got Rockingham taking on Ellenbrook at a 3:40 p.m. kickoff. Round 2 earlier in the year, Rockingham 16 over Ellenbrook 14 at Charlotte's Vineyard Pavilion. Round 6, Rockingham 38 over Ellenbrook 16 at Franklin Offshore Stadium. And in the qualifying final, Golden Point thriller, Rockingham 28 over Ellenbrook 24 at Franklin Offshore Stadium.
Some good looking games over this weekend for the juniors. So we're going to do our PSA. Remember, for everyone's spectator, trainer and coach behaviour, all team and staff, please stay in the allocated boxes. Trainers are not to camp on the sideline nor obstruct the touch judges. Coaches and trainers to be mindful of the language being used at and around junior participants and their families. Please respect the referees. They won't always get it right, just like the players don't. An abuse of anyone is not tolerated in our game. But boys, some amazing looking junior footy there. We spoke quickly about the pathways there. Rockingham look like they've got a good set of boys coming through that could definitely be blooded next year. Alkimos and Ellenbrook as well.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's, what we want to see. We want to see juniors coming through. We want to see kids working their way through the age grades. But I mean, most of all, we want to see people loving rugby league. You know, just get out there, have fun, have a crack. Encourage anyone playing. Just get out there, shake the ref's hand at the end of the game. Thank your teammates, win or loss, be a good sport, have fun, and just respect each other and love rugby league.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking day at Webber Reserve, boys. The sun's finally meant to be coming out, meant to be some clear weather, so hopefully see a big crowd down there like we did last week at Franklin Offshore Stadium, and I'm sure we'll see it at Alkimos.
That's it. We've got 12 clubs. I'll be down there. I want to see 12 lots of fans. See, maybe some Karratha Kangaroo fans or fans from all over the place.
Yeah.
All just different colours, just loving rugby league.
All your jerseys.
In community. That's what it's about.
And with, especially with Willagee not being able to take a gate or make any profit from that, let's get to the canteen and let's support the Willagee Bears as well.
That's it.
They do good food. Willagee do really good food.
The chips and gravy there is fantastic.
When they put it on, the raw fish is amazing as well. I want to do a quick shout out to a couple of people that are supporting us and sharing our page. So big thank you to Rod Fielding and Sully as well. Both of those guys have been actively sharing our page. Anyone that's listening, please jump on the Facebook page. Like us if you're listening on Spotify or YouTube. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Help us, and the notification bell. Help us get out there and get our message of rugby league out to the people that love it.
Yeah. And go back and listen to the podcast we did with Sully and Rod. They're I think, probably some of our best work all year.
Yeah.
Give us a listen.
All right. Thanks, boys. Again, as always, brilliant. Thank you so much. Until next time, remember, train hard, be kind, and love rugby league.